Welcome back to another week of reading comics and manga, where I attempt to catch up on my giant backlog and share my thoughts on everything I read. This week, a question popped into my head. Who's the bigger Giga Chad, Batman or Guts from Berserk? I'll be sure to share my thoughts later in the video, but I'm also curious on what you have to say. Alright, let's kick it. Okay, it's time to read the greatest manga of all time. Oh no, wait, that's for next week. That's more like it. Berserk Deluxe Edition Volume 4 by Kentaro Miura. You have no idea how long I've been waiting to dive into this. Oh, and also, I got these bad boys for Christmas, so I've got something to look forward to. Okay, Kentaro Miura, show me what you got. My PTSD intensifies every time I read this manga. Oh wait, that's just the contents page. The shock of this manga hits in a good way. You see, I am in constant disbelief, and not only when I witness the detail in the artwork, but the visceral violence depicted in some of these pages. I also sometimes forget about the nightmare fuel in this manga. For you see, this is not just a medieval tale about a guy with a dope sword, because it weaves in some of the best body horror I've ever seen. Oh wait, that's just the contents page again. I mean, brace yourself for this. Simply haunting. It's the kind of artwork that inspired this video game. Balls. Wow. Okay, the volume ended in some pretty giggity scenes, which I forgot to mention. There is no shortage of these, so please don't let your children read this. Once again, wow factor. Wow. Volume 11 starts with insane artwork. It just feels like this would take hundreds of hours to draw back in the day. Which, by the way, when was Volume 11 made? 29th of March 1996. Holy smokes, that's a long time ago. It feels like each volume takes a lifetime to make because of how much love goes into it. Man, this king looks like he's tripping balls. Oh my god, this chapter. The ending was shockingly crazy. I can't show you any of this, by the way. Man, this would have been so controversial back in the day. This is peak trauma. I think it's also a grim reminder of how barbaric humans used to be. Man, this guy is the epitome of Unga Bunga. Oh my god, Unga Bunga is going Super Saiyan. And now it's a hula hoop competition. What the? Bruh. Wow, this chapter is called Mortal Kombat. Nice. So another epic volume, which leaves me with more questions. Welcome back to another day of Berserk. I'm gonna be reading the final section, which will be volume 12, but first, check out this new little contraption. I got myself a boom arm. I figured it's gonna be a lot easier, you know, so I can maneuver things below. I got it as a Boxing Day sale, so it finally came in. It's got so much versatility. I mean, I can be all the way back here, just chilling at the beach. Nice. Like, I could get nice and close and intimate with you guys. Like, hey, I can tell you a secret. Did you know Bruce Wayne is Batman? Just don't tell anyone or else Bruce Wayne is gonna kick my butt. Alright, time for more trauma. See, the thing that I love about Berserk is how it just allows the artwork to do some of the talking. Even the detail on the armor is insane. So having finished the 4th deluxe edition of Berserk, here are some of the highlights. Our merry warriors relax a little bit from their adventures. Griffith has some soup. There's some foreshadowing of something sinister brewing. Story goes from chill to terror in an instant. In this final section, events unfold exponentially into one epic climax. We get to see the true ambitions of Griffith come to the surface in a truly twisted manner. Guts, our protagonist, is as resilient as ever, taking any challenges head on. It was also great to see Casca in the spotlight, leading the Band of the Hawks. All in all, a truly incredible and unforgettable deluxe edition of Berserk, albeit a traumatic conclusion. Wow, what a grim finale, which is a reminder to myself why I take breaks in between these deluxe editions. Nice. But it's really good, and I highly recommend it. Man, if you're a fan of horror, you should check this out. Alright, we're doing something different today. Okay, maybe not that different. I'm talking about a couple of indie comics. The One Hand and The Six Fingers. Both of these are published by Image Comics. Both are part of a 5-issue mini-series, and together they go hand in hand, pun intended. Now, if you don't want to collect these individually, you can pick up The One Hand and The Six Fingers trade paperback. So, what are they? The One Hand is written by Ram V. It is a criminal story taking place in the fictional city of Neo Novena, taking place in the 29th century. Following following Detective Ari Nazar, who is about to retire until a brutal murder occurs, bearing all the hallmarks of the one-hand killer, which should be impossible since Ari already put him away not once, but twice in the years before. Whilst The Six Fingers, written by Dan Waters, takes place in the same fictional city of Neo Novana, following archaeology student Johannes Vale, who commits a brutal murder using the MO of a historic and notorious serial killer. And don't worry, this is not a spoiler, but the premise of the story. You know, I gotta say, I'm really digging the art style of The One Hand. It's very suitable to this genre of like a crime noir in a dystopian future. The Six Fingers has very different vibes. It's a lot more vibrant and colorful. So I'm on the second issue of The One Hand, and it's extremely cinematic. If you want to read these together, which I highly recommend, you gotta read The One Hand first, then The Six Fingers, and then the second issue of The One Hand, and then the second issue of The Six Fingers, and so on and so on. You know, this kind of gives me the vibes of the movie Seven. Holy moly, this is super creepy and very twisty. This is issue 2 of The One Hand. No, issue 3 of The One Hand. Whoa, I'm getting so lost in this. This is awesome. It's quite fascinating that there are giggity robots in this comic, and they depict that really well. They refer to them as cogs, and they have multiple other purposes as well. Blade Runner meets Seven. Yeah, that would be a good way to describe it. Just finished issue 3. Wow. Wow. This is a great comic book so far. I just really hope it delivers on a climatic ending. I'm just going through the 4th issue of The One Hand, and I've got so many theories. Could there be some sort of a massive conspiracy, or maybe aliens, or some sort of high-level technology that's created by a secret company? Maybe something even supernatural. This was a solid 10-issue miniseries, definitely gives me Matrix vibes, a fascinating conclusion, and I wonder if they're going to do a part 2. It really does make you think and leaves you with some questions or maybe some blanks or some gaps to fill in. All in all, if you do like sci-fi and crime blended in together, I highly recommend this one. It's time for the crime-fighting, butt-kicking machine that is Batman. The man of the hour is here. Not just one, not just 2, but 5 issues that I gotta get through tonight. Now, I can see on the cover it's got absolute power on there. And I wonder, does that have anything to do with the Absolute Universe? Well, let's find out. Just out of curiosity, are you guys enjoying the Absolute Batman a lot more than the main Batman run? Let me know. Oh no, they're making a reference to the Gotham War, which by the way, I wasn't the biggest fan of that arc. Yeah, I hate to be a negative Nelly, but this artwork in issue 150, it's not very good. See, the thing is about this story, I don't really care about it. It's about some guy called Teddy who seems to have some sort of important information and is trying to team up with bad guys. It's just not going very well for him. Okay, there are some better pages of artwork here, and you can definitely tell they were made by Jorge Jimenez. So it looks like Batman is planning a heist. Well, looks like Bizarro got a bit of a makeover. It's not that very exciting. It's a tie-in to an event, so I don't think I can expect too much from it. So I just finished these Absolute Power tie-ins, and I gotta say I was a little bit confused. Okay, issue 153 now. This feels and looks like a proper Batman tale. The artwork by Jorge Jimenez is on point. This is what I expect from a Batman book. On a side note, it looks like everybody's got a cryptocurrency nowadays, even the Riddler. You know, I don't know much about this Mayor Nakano, but I'm quite invested in him and his family. He seems like an interesting addition to the Batman world. Is he a new character? Actually, let's have a look. When was the first appearance of Mayor Nakano? First appearance, Detective Comics 1027, released in November of 2020. Oh hey, who's this guy? A new addition it seems, and I like his character design, although the name's Commander Star, not very original. Okay, so having finished reading the Batman, I can safely say Absolute Power stuff, not great. The last couple of issues of Batman, pretty cool. When you keep this a street level Batman detective story, I find that's where the comic book shines. So I'm invested and I want to know more, and this is the type of Batman stories that I expect. Welcome back, my fellow bros. It is time again to read this freaking awesome comic book. I've got volume 4 with me here. It is the library edition, and it's time to unseal this bad boy. Question for you guys today is, what do you use to open up your comic books? Me, I use a steak knife. Nothing too fancy schmancy. It definitely makes me feel like a man when I open it up with a steak knife. Alright, either that or it's the Superman shirt. Gotta love the library edition. What about you guys? Do you guys like your comic books nice and giant, or do you like them nice and small, like a Tonkaban, you know? Like a, wow, look at this. Look at this, man, this is some beautiful artwork. Holy moly. Take a look at this magic. Oh, looks so good. All right, guys, let's stop mucking around. Let's dive right in. It's time. You know what's super cool is that each and every single library edition seems to have different color end pages. I think that's pretty neat. Well, that didn't take long, a couple of pages in and things are getting crazy. This is what I love about this comic book. It's so chaotic and fast-paced. I feel that Invincible was definitely ahead of its time. And Robot is the ultimate Giga Chad here. Wow, Oliver is so much older now. I forgot that that guy ages quite quickly. You know, I really don't remember this Tech Jacket guy who's all of a sudden very important in the series. But man, his design looks pretty cool. I think it's awesome how the story can go from lighthearted to emotional in a heartbeat. Oh man, issue 72 is cooking hard. Well, that looks juicy, but not delicious. Oh man, there's some very saucy betrayals going on. Intergalactic giggity. Oh, balls. Nice. This has to be the coolest team in Invincible so far. Holy moly. Dude, this is so sick. You know, I gotta say that the spiciness never really ends with Invincible. From 71 through to 76 are the issues that I read this evening, and they were just remarkable. The battle of the coalition of planets against the Viltrumites has commenced in this comic, and it was just so intense and epic. I didn't expect to accelerate so quickly. This was just simply amazing. Even if the story ended there, it would have been freaking awesome. But I'm only 76 issues in. I still have another like 60 to 70 issues left. It's simply insane, and I can't imagine what's coming next. Man, this is good. I really can't help but think, but that evil leader Viltrumite Thrag, he looks like Freddie Mercury. Another day, another Invincible. Wait, editor, shouldn't you be doing a thing? The tension in issue 77 is really high, and I do fear the worst. Well, this was a very unexpected outcome, which shows that the book continues to surprise. But it also makes sense that the story needs to pull back a bit, you know, before it eventually proceeds to the epic finale. Well, look at that. Adam Eve is using a Mac computer. You know, I've been considering getting one for editing. Are there any Mac users out there? Let me know of your experience. Man, I hope we get to see more of Tech Jacket in the series. You know, I like seeing how the story progresses, kind of like life does. It's nice seeing Immortal and Duplicate together. The interaction between our hero and this Gravity guy is pretty fun, but also wholesome at the same time. You know, another thing that I like about the series is how our protagonist Mark, aka visits the comic book store. The interactions with the store clerk are pretty fun, but also meta at the same time. Man, the world in this story continues to evolve and change, and I think that's one of the alluring aspects of the comic. I like seeing how Mark changes in this too. He becomes a lot more strategic and less emotional. He's not just becoming immensely powerful, but he starts playing the political game, which is necessary. Alright, I think this would be a good time for me to take a breather on the series, as it does pull back a little bit, chills out, and I think this is kind of like a good calm before the storm. Robert Kirkman continues to surprise me every step of the way, and he continues to make this an exciting read. I haven't read a single dull issue. It's just freaking awesome. I can understand why this is some people's like magnum opus when it comes to comic books, you know, is regarded as one of the best superhero comic books out there. And I can see why. So back to the original question, who is the bigger Giga Chad between Guts and Batman? I think if you were to strip them completely of all of their tech and gadgets, Guts seems like the better fighter, but Batman does have the brains and the strategy. Well, I think the biggest Giga Chad would have to be Alfred Pennyworth. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next week.